Thank you.
Yeah, so good afternoon to everyone. I applaud everyone who is sitting very diligently through this whole webinar. And I would like to make your time useful by sharing some of the learnings that we have had in the way that we have operated our business using G Suite. I'll just share my screen. I think I already shared it. I'll switch off video for a while for myself. I think just to introduce myself, I'm the co-founder and CEO of MatrixC, and today I hope that I will be able to share with you some learnings. So let's go to my presentation. Okay, so let me just jump to the slide, which is this one. For MatrixC, I think life is pretty much as usual because although MCO has actually changed many businesses overnight, when the MCO was in place. For us, ever since 2012, we've actually been working from home. Not having my traffic in order to just come early into the office so that they could answer support calls for our customers. So I decided that what would be more effective was for them to actually work from home. So this was actually a move for us back in 2012. So when the MCO came into place, it really didn't displace us as much. What changed for us was definitely the way that we interacted with our new customers and also, of course, ongoing projects. Do you want to continue? Yes. Okay. So for us, as a company, we already use many cloud services. Just doing a check again because I'm seeing some pop-ups on my screen. Everything still okay? If someone could just give me a shout out.
Sean, we actually can't see your screen now.
Okay. Let me.
I'm Aaron here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think your screen sharing is also lost.
Let me just go back.
Can you off it and retry the sharing again, or you want me to help you to project your screen when you talk?
Am I back?
All right now.
Okay, good. I'll make sure that I'll keep it as it is here. So for us as a company, we are already using many cloud services back then. For CRM, we were using NetHunt. For help desk, we were using Freshdesk. For quotation and invoicing, we were using FreshBooks. For accounting, we're using Zero Accounting. For salaries, claims, and annual leave, we use Kaki Tangan. For everything else, we use G Suite. For marketing, we actually use Google Forms and Sheets. For financial dashboarding, we actually use our Google Data Studio. For learning management, we use Google Classroom. For knowledge base, we actually use our own Google Sites. For project management, we have Google Sheets, Google Sites. For organizational file sharing, we use Google Drive. For video conferencing, of course, we use Google Meet. So operationally for us, everything else is actually using Google suite of products. For example, purchase requisition, payment requests, order management from customers, and so on. So I'm just spelling all these because I think over the years, we have actually learned to work that way, and we found that everything was actually available within G Suite. So my intention today really is to actually share with everyone the age that we are in, right? I think very long time ago when I started out in 2007, I was already pitching to a lot of companies about cloud computing. And during those times, many companies were slow to adopt. But I guess with MCO, I think now it's no longer a choice, but everyone needs to be a cloud worker. But if you look at the Gen Y and the millennials as well, these are sort of like the age that they live in, where they don't want physical constraints. They expect their office apps to be as good as their social network apps, and they expect to be connected all the time, and they value actually speed, right? So I think what I see as a business owner is that with this whole MCO, being able to work or adopt the cloud is no longer a choice. I think it's a must. Maybe not for everything, but used to be these are all the concerns that kept a lot of customers from going or embracing the Google Cloud. So I think for me, what I've seen is that some of these concerns have actually very quickly pushed aside, and now the key priority seems to be, okay, let's look at transforming ourselves, become cloud ready. So I think for me, with whatever that is happening, companies are really starting to be serious about taking change, doing some form of real transformation. Before this, there's a lot of talk about it, but very few customers actually start to embrace it. And I see that used to be the conversations are usually, they are afraid of not having internet access. They feel that security is a concern. But they always also say that getting users to change is usually the main hurdle in really making any form of digital transformation within the organization. With this, I guess, and in those cases that they always cited that these are the three main concerns. The real concern usually, and the deal breaker is always to say that users are not willing to change, and hence they don't adopt anything that's new. So with this, I see that all these three are just completely wiped away. Internet access is a must. Security, of course, is a must. Getting users to change and how should I say, suiting to users' familiarity as a reason not to change is out the window. So as a company, I've always felt that working should be able to should be able to happen anytime, anywhere, on any device. And what this picture tends to illustrate is that regardless of wherever you are or whatever device you use, you should be able to still continue to work, pretty much like the situation that we are in today. And because all of us carries multiple devices, we have the office issued device, we have our own personal devices, and maybe just not one, but several. So all of them should be able to securely access the corporate network, and it should allow us to access all the office information. And it shouldn't be a hard process when you need to share this content with your customers, your partners, your suppliers, and your team members. That's the kind of environment that should exist already in the way we work today as a how should I say, in the age of the cloud. And to showcase this, I feel that the best way to share this is to show you how G Suite is used in our organization to help us to continue to operate. And I hope that you can take this to see how it can help your business to operate. I think that the three key pillars here is make it fast, make it smart, and make it together. So with this, I hope to take you through a journey where you reimagine how your business will work with G Suite, with me giving you some examples. So just a little bit of history. G Suite, as we all are mostly Gmail users already, majority, given that, of course, we all still have our Yahoos and Hotmails. But I think all of us know G Suite just for Gmail, or in fact, a lot of people may not know what G Suite is. Actually, it's all these products that you see along the curve over the years. Most of us would have started with Gmail, and then maybe moved into Calendar and Google Drive, but we basically stopped there. But Google G Suite actually encompasses all these apps. So what's the key difference with the free consumer gmail.com that we all hold as a personal account? There is a paid version for G Suite, which most of our enterprise customers or SME actually subscribe to. So what you get is a 24/7 support from a real person once you are a paid subscriber, and you actually get support for your G Suite Super Administrator as well. Yes, I think the main key difference is we hear a lot of cases where people actually lose their Gmail account because it got hacked and they have no way of being able to retrieve it back. If you had a paid version of G Suite, you have a super administrator who would then be able to reset the password and get you to recover the account. But in the free gmail.com, there is absolutely no way if someone has hacked into your account or deleted your account. And we have had a few businesses who had operated using the free gmail.com, and then they ran into trouble when their Gmail additional options there. And then there is the G Suite Enterprise, which is typically very much catered for the larger enterprise, where data leakage prevention, encryption, more of the key concerns that they have as enterprise security, governance, and compliance. So I won't touch too much. Maybe later I will go into it. And then there is the G Suite Education, which is the free edition for all schools, for all education institutions, including universities. And then there is also the very heavily discounted edition, which is the Enterprise Edition for education. The key difference is it has originality reporting. It will be able to detect students' submitted assignments against any public content that is accessible by Google Search and Google Books. So this is where lecturers or professors can actually verify against a student's submission if they have plagiarized it from the internet. So everything you need to change how your team work is actually available within G Suite. Again, I mentioned that perhaps most of us are only familiar with Gmail, Calendar, and maybe this Google Voice or Hangouts. But I will show in 3 pillars of working how you can connect with your teammates using these, how you can create content using these, and how the administrator will be able to control security through all these. So let's reimagine a little how business used to work. So 30 years ago, most of us would still be using pen and paper, which is the top line, and we would actually create content, share them by distributing through in trays and out trays, and then we will put post-its, yellow stickers, and then we would then put things together once the comments have been all from here to here. You can see that essentially nothing changed except the tools we use, and the way we work remained the same. So pretty much if you were working on a document, in the old way of working, you would start the document and then you email out to 10 different people or 5 different people. And then you sit and you wait and they sit and they wait for other people to compile, and then they send back version 1. And then you would compile all the versions collected, and then you start a version 2, and the process goes back and forth. So that's not the new way of working. So even if you digitize this, it's not really transformational. So the way Google works, so if we look at that cycle of working, we can sort of categorize that the way we work is in this cycle where you start with an idea, you communicate that idea through an email or a paper if you want, and you start to collect all the articles or the content that's relevant to it, and then you begin to share it with your team, and your team will then continue to collaborate on a new document, and then you sort of then huddle together and you meet and you work and you discuss about the outcomes. So let me show you how this is reimagined using the Google tools, using the same 3 keywords again: fast, smart, and together. So when you create a customers who have gone into G Suite have actually used G Suite on their mobile phone, about 54% of them. So typically, this is how time is saved for me without spending too much time on emails. There is predictive typing, or we call it Smart Compose. So it's an AI that sort of predicts the kind of sentence that you want to construct. So this helps me save time on the email that I otherwise would have spent an additional 2 or 3 minutes. And trust me, I get like hundreds of emails a day. So even if this saves me like 5 minutes or even 2 minutes, it's a huge saving times 100. So when you want your team to be able to do and make things fast, this is Google Docs. This is a few things happening in here, right? So you like to have your teams work in parallel. So in this, you can see that there's actually 3 cursors. So 3 person working on the same document at the same time. So this saves a lot of time. This saves the old way of working of sending document back and forth, right? So for Gantt, which is this company, I think the clothing company, this is how they started to work once.
Sean, sorry, quick one, Sean. Can you hear me?
Sticky notes that we all have flying around whenever you print a document and you ask somebody.
Quick one, can you hear me, Sean?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. That's a bit of a disconnection in your voice.
Okay.
Sometimes it goes off and it comes back after a while. It's a
Mhm.
breaking there. So I just want to let you know so you're aware that this problem.
All right.
Check your internet connection or something if everything is okay.
Yeah, so maybe I typically have this issue with Zoom. Let me switch off all the Wi-Fi of all my devices. Is it better now?
Now we can hear you.
Is it still on and off?
Now seems okay, but we'll see how along the way. I thought I'll just let you know that you're
Sure. Perhaps maybe I switch to my mobile hotspot. Perhaps that could be more stable. Let me do that quickly. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Sean. Sean, are you in? Hello, Sean.
Divya, let me try to ping Sean colleague Aaron here. I think
Okay,
he
hi,
might have
Aaron.
some connection issue. I'm just assisting since he can't. Yeah.
Aaron.
Sean, we lost you for quite a number of minutes. A minute.
Yes. Yeah.
So are you okay with the line? I just chip in because in case need help for.
I am okay, I think.
Okay, maybe you continue and try. Anything will beep you again. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Right, you can continue, Sean.
So the next slide here is, this is Jamboard. Jamboard is a blank canvas that you can actually brainstorm with your team in real time as well, especially teams who are working in designing or brainstorming and they would like to sort of have that virtual, how should I say, connected smart whiteboard. But of course, this is done on the web browser. So the next thing is really making use of all the AI that Google provides in the productivity tools. Here is where there is an app called Cloud Search. So with a single search term, I will be able to search through all the G Suite components or all the G Suite apps that I have related to this guy, Mike Chang. So it makes looking for information really fast and quick. And a lot of G Suite users in the recent studies done by Gartner or Forrester, where this is the key difference, where a lot of people found that they spend a lot less time searching for information that they want. So here is another cool feature. We have shown this to many customers and they really like it. So this is a spreadsheet where you ask in natural language about the data that you have in this spreadsheet. in this example, you're asking what's the average revenue per region. A lot of Excel spreadsheet experts would know pivot table, and hence they would create pivot table to get the answer. But in this case, this is an auto creation of a pivot table after you've asked this question, and it gives you the answer straight away. And if you want to insert a chart or the pivot table, you just hit insert. So with Smart as well, essentially all the harmful emails, spam emails, antivirus emails, they are all basically filtered by Gmail already. So you don't really have to invest in additional antivirus software for emails. So it's all covered. So the last, the next one really is once you have all these tools to be able to create and share and work at the same time, you need a way to be able to connect. So here is an enterprise chat called Hangouts chat. So this is where you can actually very much like Telegram or like WhatsApp, where in this single interface, which is deeply integrated with all the G Suite, you can embed and share a presentation, you can create a calendar, you can actually send and treat it like a chat. So you would create rooms, just like that you would create rooms in Slack, and then make discussions within that room. So those people who have actually embraced G Suite, they will find that 92% of time, teams will just automatically work together when they create a document. It's almost a default. It's no longer working alone. So this is the way we communicate on a daily basis right now, or even before MCO. We would have weekly meetings, but it didn't matter if the person actually physically attends the meeting or not. They could be driving stuck in a traffic jam, but they will still dial in from their mobile phone to attend a sales meeting or a marketing meeting. So the next thing is really making it all secure for all the users. So security, of course, is top of my mind as well, because we do handle a lot of customer data. So all the settings can be set by our individual document owners, where you could actually share documents via edit access, comment, or view access, or even provide an expiry to the document. Say, if I want to share this document and I want to make this available for only 7 days, for example. So you can see that there is a way to set the access expiry to be just 7 days. So in this single view, that's how we share all our files within our organization to each and every one. So everyone sort of have the same view of all the company and organizational file wherever they are. And as a super administrator as well, I would be able to, of course, very quickly reset password, or if somebody tells me that they've lost their device, I would be able to quickly wipe out the device if I choose to, or I can temporarily remove the corporate account from that device. And if I'm also more uptight about security, I would be able to see all the documents that is being shared outside of my organization by each of the user, and I can look out for any erratic patterns of the way that information is being shared outside of my organization, or even within across departments. So there is a vault where I can retain all the documents and emails, even if the staff intentionally deletes it. And there is mobile management as well for me to actually allow which users to be able to connect from their device to the account. So encryption is given. So I think I've covered in terms of the security from the app perspective, but I think a lot of people are also very concerned about what about me accessing Google? Will there be man in the middle? Will somebody be fetching my data? So end to end, the connection between your app, your computer to Google, the G Suite is actually encrypted. And the way that things are encrypted is via this very complex key management, where I won't go into detail, but this is really to show that one email is not kept as one email in one server. One email will be shredded into thousands of pieces, kept in multiple servers. So even if anyone goes into Google data center, which is of course next to impossible, even if they steal one server or hard disk, they don't get any single piece of information. They only get bits and pieces of information. So end-to-end is really secure for whatever apps that you're accessing by G Suite. And the key thing here is that Google does not own your data. Google does not scan your data or use your data for commercial use. I think a lot of people usually have this misconception, but these are all in the privacy policy. So I've just included here because the slides will be shared with everyone, but here are all the resources that you can check with everyone. So I think now, especially with MCO, most of users would be using their own devices to actually access the corporate network, or at least the corporate data or information. For IT, that's really scary, I suppose, because personal devices could be compromised. So we work together with Acer, where Google actually has their own Chrome Enterprise. So it's not Mac, it's not Windows, but it's Chrome Enterprise. So I'm using one right now, and all it has is actually just Chrome. And with that, the administrator will be able to configure and control my device in terms of security of what I can access and cannot access. And there are over 200 configurable policies that can be configured. So I think security is always a moving target, especially now with ransomware. ITs would really be very jittery if users are not using authorized devices to access the corporate network. Sorry, I had an incoming call. Hello? Am I lost?
No, we can still hear you. Sean? Did we lose Sean? Aaron can help to check.
I think it should be Sean.
I'm sorry. There was an incoming call. That's the problem.
Yeah, Sean, continue, yeah.
Okay. Let me just continue. Where did you lose me? So can you hear me still?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So I believe I stopped here.
Yep.
Yes, Chromebook, yeah.
Yeah. So to safeguard any device is actually very important for a corporate right now. And in this case, Chrome is actually perfect because IT does not have to actually touch the device even in order to manage it. So it saves a lot of the overheads tied to actually issuing a full device to any end users today. So I think that's the beauty of Chrome. So we have a lot of schools who actually use this a lot for students for their learning. One such school is actually Brainy Bunch. But we see a lot of corporates, and within Matrix as well, we typically issue this to most of our mobile staff workers, except our key technical developers who still needs a window machine because they still work with a lot of customers on their traditional on-premise softwares. So, but other than that, I basically eliminate all this vulnerability from my work environment. So I think the key difference here is that everything works in the cloud. So the real application the only single one application that you need is really just the Chrome browser. So I think what I want to say is that there is tremendous momentum in this adoption of G Suite. If most of people already don't know, there are actually 2 billion active users on G Suite, 19 million plus on education, and with the way things are going right now, all schools being shut, together with Google, I know that we are deploying about almost 500 to a million accounts almost every week, because everywhere in the world right now, countrywide deployment for G Suite education is happening. So if you were to map the difference or the comparison between what Google have and what Microsoft has, this is a very good sort of side-to-side map. G Suite is the equivalent of O365. Cloud Identity is the equivalent of Active Directory. Chromebook is actually the Windows 10 platform OS. And then Google Cloud Platform is very similar to Microsoft Azure, but of course with a difference. So this is all our customers that has actually been with us ever since 2008. So we serve both large and small enterprises. And we were also involved, contracted under Google to actually roll out 5.5 million user accounts for our Ministry of Education. So all the digital learning platform that the students are now provided with is actually a G Suite account. And that was done in July 1st. And we were part of that, deploying 5.5 million accounts in a week. So as a company, we started out very much as doing G Suite. And over the years, in 2017, we also ventured into infrastructure modernization and data management. Where we see our customers today is they're using G Suite very much without collaboration, but with MCO kicking in, we actually see a lot of requests for training, and a lot of customers are saying we need to now be able to collaborate organizational wide. So can we make use of each and every app that is within G Suite? So if I also inserted this link, transformation gallery, here are a lot of the ideas that, and these are also ideas that we have taken into how we build G Suite into some of our internal workflows. So you can see that these are some of the ideas and recommendation of how you can use G Suite in combination to solve a business operations, or even go into a marketplace and then add on an app where you can turn your Google Sheets into an application, a mobile application. So these are the ecosystem that I really like about G Suite. And with this, that's how I've actually prioritized, anything that we're going to buy internally to manage our internal operations. Does it integrate with G Suite? So if it does, this is where I look for it, and this is where I evaluate and adopt them if they are good enough. So for the purpose of today, we are actually running a promo. We are providing up to 30% discount for G Suite Basic and G Suite Business. It's valid from 3rd to 30th. So all those listeners who are really interested, I would suggest that you scan this barcode, QR code, or you type the bit.ly short URL in order to sign up and let us know, and we'll get in touch with you and offer you the discount, especially for this digital fest, SME Digital Fest. So here is all our contact details and also the QR code to scan. So I'm ready for questions. Did I lose everyone again?
No, yeah.
Sean, there's some question I answered online on your behalf, but those haven't answered, maybe have a look on the Q&A and just pick up that one and answer directly.
Okay. One question was, is this security fully encrypted?
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Is the security fully encrypted?
Oops, I didn't hear it.
Can I hear me?
Yeah, it came on and off.
Is the security fully encrypted for this is the question we have.
Is it fully encrypted, like the traffic?
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Let me switch off all my notifications. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Frozen though. The video is frozen.
My video is frozen.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's okay.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to add on? If not, I think we can do a wrap up, and we'd like to do a conclusion for your session.
Sure. Yeah. So I think as a whole, I truly understand a lot of businesses are just thrown into the deep waters right now, not knowing really how they can continue operations. Of course, for us, we've been fortunate because that's the way we have been working, and we found it to really help us in this time. We are, I believe, to some extent, G Suite is already being used by some businesses, but maybe not to the extent that I've shown. And even a lot of Gmail users would have used them, but they didn't realize that it comes with so many features and that it can actually run so many things. So I truly hope that with my session, I have actually opened a little bit of light as to how they can really make use of the tool and find a way to still be able to collaborate. I think the thing here is, if you give the right tool to your people will be able to really contribute and work. I think this is more important than anything right now, where people need to still want to contribute and be able to work for the company or generate revenue for the company. But if they're not given the right tool, they don't have the right access, then no matter how much they desire it, there is no way for them to actually be able to channel that productively through. So I hope that in showing what we have shown, we could either help small entrepreneurs who are starting up to quickly start up and go right now, use whatever innovative ideas you have to put all the tools together to make it work for you. Something like a mini ERP, if I might say so. And then once your business scale like the way we have scaled, then you start to buy all the other robust ERP. But I thought that's what I wanted to leave here in this chat.
Thank you so much, Sean, for coming on board to SME Digital Fest 2020 and sharing your inputs into this topic. Thank you so much. Really, it was really very helpful, and we appreciate your time, your effort. Thank you so much.
Apologies for all the drop-offs and
Right.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay then. Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.